Today we have a really interesting segment to cover with Grayson Berry, a visionary, director, producer, actor, pretty much everything. I don't know, what is it that you can't do? Anyway, we have Grayson Berry, who is part of Grayson Berry's Productions. You know, he has a huge ego. He had to slap his name on it. And we're going to have also a special guest, our four-legged friend who's going to jump in and out of the interview. Right now, he looks like he's tired. And
you want a story? Here's a story. Middle-aged man wakes up to find he's obsolete.
Think of it as an early retirement.
Where are you gonna go? Your job? Home to your wife?
Give the clients what they want. It's not about politics. It's about survival.
My life story revealed. A divine comedy?
Kid! You okay? Kid!
I hate everybody.
This is Major Tom to ground control. I'm stepping through the door. Now it's time to leave the capsule.
Money me now. I need money.
Major problem. Who got some kind of movie or
It's a
something?
movie like Star Wars.
I'm in. This guy's amazing.
Oh, money for me the problem. Major problem. Yeah. Money.
Major problems. Yeah, he's got problems, all right.
Money for me the problem. Major problem. Yeah.
But everybody has rallied. So a couple of people that I worked with on a romantic comedy in New Mexico in May, Theron LaFountain, Carly Christopher, to name two, have come aboard and have become producers and have raised money and I didn't expect it at all. And then after the table read, they're like, no, this project is special. We want to do anything we can to make this happen. I'm like, and they don't even have huge roles. And so that was like, wow, okay. Maybe we have something here.
that goes to what I've said previously. I've said in person to all of you, to last time you were here, as well as to other people, is just the raw uniqueness to what you guys are able to bring as a form of entertainment, as a production company, as a form of script writing, as phenomenal actors. I mean, you are amazing in range of acting, Roth as well. You guys bring a uniqueness to the table that really can't be packaged into one term or one word. It'd probably take like a 200-page essay to describe the dynamic that you guys bring in, but also what you bring out of yourselves that people resonate and connect to on the screen.
Well, thanks. I really appreciate that, Phil. I was stumbled upon Ryan randomly. I moved out here from Texas to be a New York actor, and set up shop in West New York, New Jersey, right on the Hudson River. And I just happened to meet Ryan, and that was the end of New York for a little while, in the sense that I met all these great people in New Jersey with all these great creatives, and we've been sort of running ever since. And I think that's what we all want, right? We want that collaboration with people that we enjoy being around, with the absence of ego, with the absence of divas and things like that we do run into in the professional world on set every now and then. And you think to yourself, where would this person rather be? We're allowed to sort of control those attitudes in the sense of hiring, at least, things like that.
And you guys kind of created a musketeer type of thing, like your little trope that you got going on here, because it's not one, but it's all three of you that has united together to create and operate and to produce through Grayson Berry's Productions, correct?
Yes, absolutely. Raphael has 5 or 6 scripts that are fantastic. He's more of a horror guy, but he's also got a great script that's sort of about some inner city at-risk youth in New York, kind of a little mafia element. So he's got that. Ryan, this is so BJ Novak did a movie called Vengeance, that I was in briefly, and it's about he's a New York podcaster who goes to Texas because he has an Instagram girlfriend that had like an opium, and he stumbles into this story that's basically this epidemic in this small Texas town of like kids addicted to opiates, whatever. But what it ends up being is this sort of New York versus Texas trope stereotype thing, and he's a total New York guy. And that was B.J. Novak's calling card, if you will, not Swan Song, but that's his magnum opus. That's what I was looking for.
Okay.
This is Ryan's magnum opus. This is, Ryan is this incredibly educated, literate writer who was influenced by Christmas Story and The Adventures of Baron Munchausen, which I've seen recently, and It's a Wonderful Life. And that was sort of his, he's got in musical theater and Broadway and all that, and it's all there. And you see that joy because we have a little kid version of him as well. And so it's just so nice, Phil, to see that it's happening. Because I'll be honest with you, man, every time you do a film and you get those wheels rolling, everything goes wrong. I mean, it's hard to have faith that any feature film, it's hard to make any feature film, so.
Well, there's always that risk with production.
Yeah.
It's everyone thinks what they have is amazing as gold, but is it? And that goes to something that we talked about previously when you were here about all those great scripts that are on the shelf in Hollywood, and we don't ever see it, but we get what they tell us that's gold. And then we're programmed to believe in certain things, but then we have something like what Ryan has here, which is real gold. That's fool's gold that they got over in Hollywood. This is the actual one. And that kind of brings up the idea of, okay, so how is this coming into fruition? Like, what's the process here?
It takes a village. The crowdfunding thing is always, it's incredibly difficult for me because I've done it more than a few times. And so I have to go to the well again, to these friends and parents and loved ones, and be like, oh, Grayson's making another movie, and I'm like, oh, I hate that I have to, can you give me $10? So we get the ball rolling, and then you believe in it the way we have, did the table read, invited everybody and their mother, people who, are connected like Carly Christopher and Theron LaFountain, and who also happen to be incredible performers who I've worked with before, so I have that trust that they're going to do fantastic, step up and tell everybody they know about it. And it really does have that kind of grassroots, catches fire.
So for those who are aspiring to be in production and want to be cinematographers and produce their own movies and have a story to tell, how do they go about going into the process of getting their passion projects funded?
Right. So I think it really is the Indiana Jones Last Crusade movie. I think it always will be, and for us, who are not connected to Netflix and don't have a brother or the connection in that way, to just shoot what you have. I'll tell you what inspired this for me is I was staying in LA shooting a recurring role on Days of Our Lives with a woman who showed me a home video they had done of her ex-husband who was Ukrainian, and it was his birthday, and he's a 70-year-old Ukrainian man, and it was the most endearing, adorable thing I've ever seen. It had the entire family, the kids were wearing mustaches like the Ukrainian dad. They're showing the boat in the bathtub, like this is how Grandpa got to, and I'm like, this can work. Like, it's incredibly charming. So I thought to Ryan's movie, and I have a passion project that I wanted to make, but it's got a lot of teenagers in it. There's a lot of moving parts. It costs a lot more money, and teenagers don't stay the same age for long. So you got to really. Right. So this was the one in that way. And I said, look, let's just shoot. Let's roll it out, and we'll shoot what we can, and the big man upstairs will find a way.
Awesome. That's a great way of putting it. So where are you with this process? Like, you're only a couple of weeks away. Mm-hmm. You're 2 days from today. This is the August 15th, so you have 2 more days for funding. What happens if you don't meet that? And what do you do when you come to that point? Are you guys going to say, hey, this is over with, we're done, we're going to go home? Or are you guys looking at this like, so what, we're going to still push this through?
It's a great question. I've never started a project that I didn't finish. So I will do whatever it takes. I've already gotten pre-approved for a loan. I've never done that before, but I feel like this project is worth it. There's enough people around me, and my gut tells me that this is what my time is going to be spent on for the next couple of months, body, mind, soul, spirit. So you just do it, man. You go ask the questions you're afraid to ask before. If there's that uncle out there, the grandmother who is going to bestow her inheritance upon you, so can I have a little advance?
I would have figured Ralph's OnlyFans page was going to bring in the money.
shake it, you don't get money.
I'm gonna make some major problems.
Money for major problems. Major problem. Yeah.
So no, Rolf is incredibly talented. I tell you what Rolf has. I was thinking about this today. That you don't see it with everybody. He's got the greatest attitude.
Yes.
He has this attitude of just, he doesn't overthink things. He's gonna get to the job. He's not gonna, it's just a real positive can-do solution, and you just don't see it that much.
I've seen a couple of things that he's done in the past, and I've seen what he's worked on now. And one thing I've always admired with him is that even when he has a serious look on his face, he has a smile. He has this little smirk he does, like even when he's trying to be mean, he's trying to be serious, there's a smirk there, and it's like, man, you really have a good heart. Yeah. You can tell that you put everything in. He enjoys what he's working on, even when he's being serious, even when he has that anger and he's trying to get some work done. And I've noticed watching a lot of things with him behind the scenes and other things, it's like he has that joy that he can't hide.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I watched an interview last night with M. Night Shyamalan, local Philly boy, right?
Yeah.
And he was talking about, God, I was born in the perfect era. We had Star Wars and Raiders of the Lost Ark and E.T. He's like, that was church. And I was like, that's kind of like Rolf, right? He has that, like, you can tell parents sat him down in front of the TV and he just soaked it up, and now because all of his scripts are like that too. They're very marketable. They're very much just easily digestible. He's got the formula. He's got it down. The instincts are there.
And the same thing can be said with you. You have that versatility of your range that you had from daytime soaps. You went to SVU. You were a recurring, not character, but recurring actor on that. You had a number of roles that you had with TV shows and movies, and you've shown from, it's like apples and oranges from the type of characters that you've played. And it's really amazing, but also interesting, and says a lot about your ability as an actor.
I appreciate that, man. What do they say? Necessity is the mother of invention. I'll be whoever they need me to be. And I think, I think living in California and New York, I've thought about that recently. I think having that sort of, and then being from Texas, you sort of get this sort of interesting POV, right? Because from the LA to New York. And interesting that I started to play some of these New York characters when I moved out here. I guess maybe it's not, but I would rather play, I think, the characters and the bad guys even because they're more interesting.
Yeah, but you're not a bad guy. I'm sorry. It's like I could, like, honestly, you're a great actor, but I just would never look at you in the bad guy role and be like, yeah, I can believe that.
I appreciate it. Obi, you want to come? Obi, come. Come on, bud. Come on. Obi, come. It's okay. Come on up. Okay, so we're going to introduce another star of Major Problems. Come here. It's okay. Don't be shy. It's okay.
He's such a prima donna.
I know, right? All right, so let me get you a camera here, buddy. All right, so this is Obi-Wan Kenobi, and he is starring as Duke in Major Problems, and that's Ryan's childhood dog, basically.
Oh, wow.
So sneak peek of the big scene. Obi has to battle a Katarine alien animal, which was in Ryan's imagination as a child. This was the aliens that were outside of his bedroom and things like that. So he has to go behind closed doors and have a mano-a-mano battle with a Katarine, and we won't tell you how that results, whether you win or the Katarine wins. But Obi's ready for his close up, right, bud?
Will he be dueling a lightsaber in this fight?
Yeah, he's got a lightsaber at home, actually. He's got the double-sided Sith lightsaber, right? You do all that? You don't, is that in your contract? No? Okay. So yeah, he's
The look he has in his face, like,
he's a squirrel chaser more than anything else. If we can get some squirrels on set, I think he'd be motivated, right? Some possums, some groundhogs, right? All right, buddy. It's okay. You can go back to your trailer. It's all good. Okay, you can go back up here. It's okay. Whatever you want to do, bud. Okay.
Oh, he's so cute. He's like, I just want the camera on me.
You just want that camera time, buddy? I got you, bud. I got you. Yeah, we had him in a movie called Messiah EXE about a religious zealot who reanimates Jesus Christ through an automaton robot. Pretty cool little clever plot. But anyway, he played the dog of the homeless guy. And I think as soon as I called him, he ran off set. Is that right, honey? Obi's take on Messiah, he just ran off set after we...
Yes, he saw you, and
Right.
it took. He just went running towards you.
But yeah, he's a good boy. He's a good boy. But yeah, man.
So this is really going to be a family production.
It is. It's got yeah. Ryan's parents were on the Zoom, so they watched the whole. Watched his.
What was their reaction?
Ryan's parents are critical, but positive. They're proud of him. They're proud of him. They're proud of him. They support him. This is what Ryan wants to do, and I think Phil. Every film you do, you learn more. You learn the mistakes you made the first time, and you try and not make them the second time. And I think we're doing that as a crew as we speak. So it's just gonna be fun, man.
And you guys are actually building your set as well.
Yeah, we're building the elevator, the time traveling elevator, a la Bill and Ted's.
I want to ask so many questions, but then I'm like, that's just going to give away too much. But definitely sounds, the way a lot of it was described to me, it sounds like more of Rufus on Bill and Ted's time traveling phone booth than inside the phone booth.
Yes. So two things. Yeah, one, we have a guy who looks a ton like George Carlin who's playing that kind of a character.
Oh, wow.
Actually, you've seen him. Bob Sienkiewicz, the star of Initiative.
Yes. He is amazing.
He's great.
Oh, he's the coolest, honestly.
Yeah.
You got to bring him down here.
I will.
You got to bring him down.
He would love that. He would love that. He would love that. Bob is great. And I didn't think of like 3 days before the table read, we had another guy in mind, and we needed to cast the role. And I said, Bob looks like George Carlin. Bob's a good actor. Bob would be great as Archie, And yeah, he's gonna fit right in. And we love Bob. What's not to love? That guy. I mean, you want to talk about somebody who has really taken the bull by the horns with Initiative? He's done like 7 or 8 film festivals at this point.
Yeah, and his Initiative and his role was so interesting, and it was such a fake out that when I do talk about Initiative, I'm always have to be like so careful because I'm like such a geek. I'm like a huge geek, and I'm like, dude, I want to tell you about this movie, but I can't because I'm going to spoil it for you. And it's like just his role, and it's Shutter Island. It's like Shutter Island. It's very similar to it. For everyone at home, it's very similar to Shutter Island in how the dynamic of the movie unfolds, because it plays with your senses, it plays with your sense of reality, and it plays on so many levels to the person's psyche that I honestly would think that you guys will revisit the Initiative to make it longer into an actual feature-length film to add more of a dynamic to it, to be similar to something like Shutter Island, because I think it has that potential in it.
Amen. That's on the table right now as the sort of Kurosawa. Now you're seeing it from different people's perspective. You saw it from Bob's perspective, who's the game master. Mm-hmm. Now you see it from Brian, who's his main competition. Now you see it from Tom, from Bill, and he wants to go forward. It may be a series, it may be a feature, but yeah, he wants to make a feature, and we'd love to do it for him for sure.
I think I can see it being a series because it has that type of dynamic to it, but I think it would rob away from it as well. I think a series would take away from what the cinematography of effects that you guys added into it as well, and being able to personalize it without being personalized with each character that's presented in it. Because if you're doing it into a series, you dive too far into it, and you will take away by giving too much up. And that mystery there with each of the characters in it, I think works to it and to the benefit of how it unfolded, just the same way as you had Shutter Island. They didn't give so much in-depth into each character.
Right.
You were exposed enough to generate your own idea. And I think that's the great way with that movie played on the audience, because the audience is sitting there taking a trip themselves, but then faced with their own perceptions of reality. They're looking at this like, wait, wasn't this, which one are we in? And you're trying to figure out who's real.
Thank
Who's
goodness.
not?
Thank goodness. I mean, thank goodness you got it, and thank goodness that came across, because that was the that was the goal. So if we do LARPing in the future,
I'm definitely there.
Okay.
Hands down. Don't even ask. You got me. You're gonna have to kick me off set. Definitely there.
because I almost talked them into it, but at the end of the day, they're like, "Nah, we don't want to be dressed up in costumes like that, running around." I was like, "Guys, it's gonna be great." And they're like,
That's because they're old. They're sticking to mud. Don't worry about them. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
Okay.
Trust me. I'm gonna roll on the ground. I'm gonna be fighting thin air. I got you.
Yeah. Yes. It's like the Michael Cera from Phillip in the garage. I love it. Yeah. So we got a great network of people, Phil, in Jersey and New York, and it's just exciting to be. Again, our second feature. We did our first one during the pandemic. Now we're shooting our second feature during this strike. So when the zombie apocalypse happens, come visit us on set, I guess.
Honestly, there's actually a new anime. It's funny you said that features around the zombie apocalypse that just came out. And I was like, yo, I would love for these guys to do something around a zombie apocalypse. Given that even with Walk of Dead, is done with, and they're still reviving a new take around the concept of Walking Dead and other story arcs.
Fear the
because
Walking Dead.
Yeah, because you can't walk away from a good zombie flick. And one great zombie series was iZombie.
Never saw it. Okay.
Oh, it was also a graphic novel. It's even comics and everything.
Right.
iZombie is really cool. It featured around a girl who was on a boat party. She ends up there was like a drug involved that actually caused people to become zombies.
Mm-hmm.
And then from that experience, people started becoming zombies throughout New York. And she became a medical examiner, and she used that as a cover to eat brains to stay. Yeah, she was actually doing the medical examiner, and the brains she ate from the victims gave her the ability to help solve the crimes that was committed against them. Their murder cases, unsolved cases became solved, and she also used that as a way to gain knowledge from them. And she gained their memories, things like that, and it also kept her from becoming a full-fledged zombie. She wasn't zombified. Like, she kept her senses because of that. And it's a really interesting series.
I like it. No, that's a great hook.
But, it was a successful TV series. It went on for a couple of seasons, and it was really good. But it made me think back, like, okay, we see this working, we see this. I want to know what these guys can do with it. So I was going to bring that up to you anyway. I was going to be like, look, what can you guys do with a zombie flick?
I love post-apocalyptic. I was raised on The Road Warrior. It was on a loop in my house. I mean, I love that post-apocalyptic, last men or women standing kind of a thing. So I grew up in Texas, and in West Texas, Phil, there's a whole lot of nothing, especially going west. Mm-hmm. And so my dream is to shoot 4 or 5 post-apocalyptic sort of movies. So maybe the zombie thing can happen. Maybe sort of a hunt. New laws, a new sort of post-apocalyptic world opens up out there. I love it. I love that stuff.
So definitely something to revisit on having a zombie flick with you.
For sure. I should also say we have another amazing actor. So some of the actors in Major Problems that we're lucky enough to have. So Maria Tornberg, who played my wife in Unfavorable Odds, another romantic comedy that I did 2 years ago, is starring in this as sort of Ryan's best friend, essentially. His main character's best friend. Really? And she's Swedish. And so there was some discussion about her accent. And so I told her to go watch Jennifer Jason Leigh and Hudsucker Proxy to kind of get that like, that sort of sassy thing. And she came in and it was like sort of the Swedish thing. And everybody loved it. She was so endearing. And it's like, well, it's New York City. Like, it should be a melting pot of cultures. Yeah. And it makes sense.
I mean, no one has a good accent in New York City.
What? I landed a client. That's fantastic. Who? You know your friend Wes. Yeah. So he hired me to redecorate his whole office.
I forbid it. People who are all pushing in the same direction, who all want the same thing, which is to collaborate and make awesome art. And so between Raphael, myself, and Ryan, we're just blessed.
Wow. So for people at home, how can they support you now and after the next 2 days? Because you know this is going to re-air again.
Sure.
Where can they go to continue the support for Grayson Berry's Productions?
I think the easiest thing is to go to graysonberryproductions.com, where they can follow Major Problems, and eventually we'll have the website of the actual film. But anytime you ever have any questions and you want to reach out to any one of us and ask us anything, we are around, and we love doing that. We love answering questions and stuff. So contact at graysonberryproductions.com is the email, and we would love to talk with you about your own passion project. We're always entertaining other people who have. That's the thing. I mean, that's what really drives us. Having a Bob Sankiewicz come up and say, you know, initiative. What do you guys think? Dungeons and Dragons, and then there you go.
You're really blessed to have individuals like him and his circle of people. It's honestly that right there with Roth and his people, Ryan, his people. You guys have the perfect storm to create something amazing, but also unique every time.
We're lucky to have you to come talk to us about it, because you remind us, Phil, that we have something special and that we can keep doing it, because you know, as an actor, it's a roller coaster. No matter how high the high is, the crash is always worse.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you talk to professional athletes and they'll say, you know, they remember the losses more than they remember the wins. And so having a little more, which is what we're all trying to do. Ryan has a real job. Raphael has a real job. I've done every job you can possibly imagine, and have been fortunate enough to not have a real job here for, well, movie making and acting is a real job, but you know what I'm saying. And it's like, I think you just keep telling the universe what your plans are, you know, and pushing forward, and eventually, oh gosh, there's a great George Bernard Shaw quote that I'm forgetting right now, but it's, the reasonable man conforms himself to everyone else and nothing happens, and the unreasonable man refuses to conform himself to everybody else. Therefore, all progress depends on the unreasonable man. And I think we need to
Amen.
be unreasonable.
You know, I see a lot of wisdom in that, and it makes me think about, like, you know, individuals who brought us together was initially the Philadelphia Independent Film Festival. Mr. Benjamin there, who was hosting the whole thing over at Sierra 5 Studio, and what their projects has been about with helping bring about that form of fruition for artisans. You know, helping them stay true to their passion projects and bringing it to reality. And the importance of things like supporting your local independent film festivals, supporting local artisans, but not just directly, but to the foundations that are built around them. You know, because that's the key part. Because it really takes a village and a community to produce these types of projects. It's not just the actor or the screenwriter or the producer as individuals, but it's what's the whole it is, the collective that brings it about.
100%. And we want to give back. We're going to, end up giving 5% or so of our proceeds to, the charity of their choice and things like that. We've always wanted to do that. Ryan's very connected that way. I'm very connected that way. And yeah, at the end of the day, you can't take any of it with you. You can't attach a U-Haul to a hearse.
So that brings up to the other question. You after you produced the film,
mm-hmm.
What after that? Like, what happens? How,
Sure.
the distribution process?
Right.
How do you put it in front of everyone in America?
Well, I don't want to bore you with the distribution model because it's convoluted. But in a nutshell, I'll say, because I've learned so much in the last feature that I sold and another one that I sold in 2013, I've learned that to wait and to really get that fan or champion of your project. Find the one that really is, even if they're not Gravitas or one of the huge distributors. You find somebody that's a fan of you and that believes in your stuff and the message and wants to go through the ride with you, because I always heard it as an actor, like, you guys are only here for a week, 2 weeks. I'm with this thing for 5 years, and that's what's tough to explain to investors. But in short, it will definitely do Amazon, Roku, Apple TV, Tubi, hopefully Hulu and Netflix is the dream. But theatrical release is also a possibility, and I would love to do theaters with this.
So what would it take from supporters to see that in a theatrical release?
$150,000. I mean, that's the number that you'll always get from Lionsgate to get it into 300 to 500 theaters nationwide, right? It's a limited theatrical release. And I think we absolutely have the potential to do that. And I think we have some people around us who are sort of waiting to see how real this is going to be. You still have those people that kind of dip their toe in the water and they say, okay, these guys we came and saw them shoot. And I had a movie I did years back where we brought the investor who put a little bit of money into set. He saw us run the set for a couple of days and he said, oh, these guys know what they're doing. And then he finished it, that kind of thing. So. That
makes me wonder, what hashtags do people need to add in to help bring the support for this? Because, like when people are talking about it, they want to put a hashtag, because it's reality is, as I say all the time, I am an uber geek. I am a true geek, and I love supporting my fellow geekdoms of all my geeks out there. And, Grayson Berry Productions is my family of geeks, my oddball geeks over there. And what is it that everyone who is watching our platform at home and they want to, and you want to tell them right now, like,
hashtag? I'm so bad at hashtag. I would say hashtag Grayson Berry Productions works. Just go to GraysonBerryProductions.com. We've got a great website there and a lot of interactive stuff, all about us, all about our stories.
And almost daily, like every other day or every couple of days, there's something posted on your Instagram. There's always something going on there. You guys, I honestly think you got to engage more with that. Honestly, push more hard with the social media. Tell people to interact with you. Show that the people support you, because they do. It's not like you don't have something that people don't support.
It's true.
Push it out there. Tell your fans right now. Tell your prospective fans. Hit you up. DM you. Tell them to contact you. Let them know, hey, you're there, because you want to actually produce not just your passion projects, but passion projects that resonates with them.
Amen. Yeah. It's there's no greater reward that I've seen than seeing somebody get their music heard like that.
And this is also a great way for them to interact with you, because I know there's a lot of artisans out there who would love to create something for a feature film just to get themselves out there, for a series just to get themselves out there. And that's another way that you can also encourage a competition even for the music, the soundtrack.
I like it. Well, we just launched our film festival, by the way. So we have a film festival. I'm not going to say the title of it yet because I think it's not quite copyrighted. But basically, I'll just say we're rewarding those people who have gotten rejected from Sundance, Cannes, South by, and Tribeca. So if you've gotten rejected from one of those 4 festivals with a short or a feature, you're automatically accepted into our festival, which we will have in Austin on December 2nd and 3rd of this year. So we're excited about that.
So how does someone submit themselves to it?
We are about to launch the site and the submission link within the next 7 days. So
all right, I'm gonna hold you to that. In the next 7 days, we'll hold off. We'll put some shorts out for this.
Yeah.
And this way, we can clip the parts that talks about the major problems or whatever's going to eventually be named.
Yeah.
I like major problems, just saying.
No, that's good. I'm glad you like it. I think Raphael likes it too. I think Ryan landed there. I think there's a lot of people who feel that click and they say, that's a negative. I don't want major problems in my life. So I'm going to click one.
Who don't have major problems in their life?
That's true. That's true.
You know what? Just play the clip from your niece.
Yeah, you come here and tell me real quick.
I can't sleep because that's time I noticed I was awake for all night.
Right.
And I had bad thoughts. I don't know how that happened.
And they keep you awake, the farts?
Yeah, the thoughts keep me awake. I don't know how this happened.
He is.
10 years from now. Daddy, what happened over here?
What's going on there? And we also, our DP, this just came out of the woodwork, but I guess there are no accidents. Can't say his name, but comes from one of the top shows in New York City that's shot for 7 to 9 seasons, and he's been behind the camera for all of it, and he is our director of photography. So it's looking good, buddy. It's looking good.
Wow. So don't worry. We will be having behind the scenes segments, so you'll get the little snippets of who it is. I got you.
You want to say bye, Obi? I think he's going to sleep over here.
He did.
You go to sleep, buddy?
Did you make yourself at home?
Yeah, he's like, I was crashed out. You gotta do this. You gotta do this in one take, okay, buddy? Yeah, that's a good boy. Yeah, that's a good boy. All right, Obi, say bye to Phil. Thanks for having us, right, buddy? We'll get you a treat. Cool. You got a long car ride. It's all good. All right, buddy. Well, I'm scaring him now. He does not like baths. He's going to Phil.
I got you. Don't worry. I won't let them do anything to you. I got you.
They're gonna torture me, those people. But yeah, I feel like honestly, we from Raphael and Ryan and myself, they can't be here, but we really appreciate the time, man. Like for you having us and listening to us and caring about what we're doing. It means a lot.
Well, you know, I got it. Like I said, I gotta support my brothers. You guys are unique. You're true masters of your craft. You know, Ryan is just so many things.
Where do we begin?
You know, it's I don't think I can pick up the phone without cracking up and then trying to talk in tears of laughter. You know, you have a other side of you, which is a very intellectual, theological, and deep philosophical part of you, from not just being an actor, but also a really deep person as well. And then Raph as well. It's like, you know, each of you are so unique and bring so much of your unique qualities into your mastery of craft, from writing, acting, to directing, and then also being able to go behind the scenes and help edit to bring out the flow of the story that you want to present to the world.
Well, thank you, man. Yeah, the editing process is a whole nother thing, but that's, you know, you get to direct the film all over again in the edit, as you know. So it's just wonderful to see that and to see what ends up on the cutting room floor. And God knows with Raphael directing and the three of us sort of running the show out there.
Kind of makes me wonder and worry. No, it's like, I'm like, well, Initiative was great, but you know, all three of them is actually behind the scenes. Like, oh.
What could go wrong? Lots of things. No.
You know, there was an older person who mentored me for a while, and he was like, you know, with a youth movement, what you do is you leave them alone, and then you hope and pray that they don't set fire to something. And that kind of made me think about you guys, actually. I recently came across one of his writings, and I read that, and I was like, yeah, that's dumb. That's pretty much dumb.
Keep an eye on us?
Yeah, you kind of like, you guys are like the Dennis the Menace of the production world. Like, you know, you're going to create something. How amazing and how interesting it is.
You know, somebody told me once, it's like throwing a party. You know, it really kind of is, right? The set life is kind of a party. So I hope everybody leaves happy, you know.
I think everyone will walk away from, whether it stays as major problems, I'm going to keep calling it major problems, irregardless of what you want to name it as. I'm just saying, just going to throw it out there. It's my major problems.
Amen.
Because I got major problems. Anyway.
You might be the deciding vote, man.
I think, irregardless of how it unfolds, there's no one who's going to walk away without being moved in some kind of way. Again, you guys are masters at your craft. And I know it kind of like, you know, I was, these guys kind of, Danny and especially Justin, who went through counting how many times I kept saying amazing in the last interview.
Was like, Justin the one that sent us to the Chicky and Pete's in South Philly? Or
yeah.
Okay. Well, I have a story about that. but go ahead.
That was the one that left just earlier.
Go on.
So he's like cracking jokes because he counted how many times I was saying amazing, because I just kept getting blown away from you guys. And it's like, yeah, I am a true fan of each of you. However, I would say that it is not just, hey, I want you guys here just because I'm a fan. I want you guys here. I want to interview because what you guys produce and what you guys do as individuals, but also as a company, that right there is unique, and it needs to be celebrated as artisans, but also as visionaries and pioneers, because you're not just taking the status quo. You're taking something that's as a status quo and saying, that's cute, I like that, but I'm gonna give you this. That there has to be respected and celebrated.
Yeah, you don't. You have to, thank you, Phil. You have to say, you have to speak your mind. You have to speak your heart. You have to leave it all out there on the field so that you don't have any regrets and all those things. And I think that's what drives all three of us. Is when I met Ryan, he was a playwright writing in theater, and then COVID happened, and he's like, well, there's no more theater. He's like, what's film like? And then Ryan directed his first short film that I produced, and he was like, this is great. This is forever. With theater, it's not, it's live, and it's got its own sacred place. So I don't know where I was going with that, other than to say, no regrets. Just leave it all out there on the field, and then let him deal with the rest.
And that brings back to what you said earlier about your own film festival and celebrating what people had said, hey, this doesn't meet, don't cut the mustard, we just don't want you in our film festival. And you're like, bring it to us, we celebrate what you have.
Amen.
And because it's really their soul.
Yeah.
That's that writer, that's that director, that's that lead actor's soul that they unbared in these film festivals. And I've been critical of some of them, like the last one. I was honest with a lot of people. I told them, I told one person, like, dude, you were drunk the entire film. It's just like obvious. And then I'm like, you had the wrong frame rate. Like it just, and that's how the film was played out. I'm like, it was obvious. But then there were those like The Initiative, Best Day of Your Life. There's like all these other small ones there, Kingfish, and so many others who were like Morak, and just like you had this unique quality of a film that I don't think the other festivals could truly give it the showcase and respect it indeed. And the situation with the oddball crew of the Philadelphia Independent Film Festival could truly respect and understand it and give it the proper showcase. And I think that's why it kind of did so well there, where people walked away talking about it. Even online, they had like this whole thread where there was like so many things that were being discussed, and there was other little groupings that were all discussing these films. And I'm like, there's a reason, because they broke the status quo. Each of these films were unique in the respect that they did not want to be typecast. They did not want to be, marginalized. They did not want to be said, this is what it is. They played different roles, and they presented it in different ways.
It's funny that you say that, because Bob was getting some feedback from a festival that he was put up as a horror film. And he's like, I don't think we're a horror. And then he was put into a comedy block. He said, I'm not sure we're a comedy. He's like, what am I? And I said, Bob, you are what you are. And these days, everything is being cross-pollinated, right? You're seeing zombie thriller or vampire drama or, the genres.
Cowboys and aliens.
Cowboys and aliens.
Listen, the cowboy and alien movies, I don't know what to put them as. I'm like, I want a Western, but then there's this alien in it.
Like Ridley Scott made Sergio Leone. Yeah, I mean, and we were talking the other day, because we were talking about major problems, the title, and we were saying, after we got out of the reading, because Ryan was, an emotional mess, God bless him, we left it all out on the field, and he's crying, and we go out in front of the steps outside the reading, and he's like, is this a comedy? Like is this funny? And I'm like, yes, man. I was like, but how many times do we go on to Netflix and you see like comedy? That's not a comedy. You know what I mean? So genres are getting,
Well, and this is what I respect about those films I mentioned and the way your production company operates, is that you're no longer allowing yourselves to be typecast and genreized. You guys aren't being pushed into that corner because you set yourselves up to be so unique that people don't know what to put you at. And I think that's also why you're getting the attention that you deserve, because you're not saying I'm going to stay the course. You're saying I'm going to present something that's real and original because everyone else has presented the same story over and over again. And that works. Like, okay, initiative. That works because, yes, Dungeons and Dragons has been done, but not like that.
Stranger Things.
Yeah, it's like, there's so many ways that it can be presented. There's so many ways that people can take these scripts and present the story where it doesn't have to be presented the same old way over and over again. I'm tired of looking on TV or going to the movie theater. In fact, I actually really stopped going to the movie theater because I was like, well, I can tell you how it ends.
Yeah. My wife's the same way. She calls it 5 minutes in. He did it. Yeah.
But then you have something like which you're Grayson Berry Productions producing. You had Kingfish, which I can't wait to have them back here for an interview. You would love Tab Edwards.
Okay.
He's really amazing in the way he set up the whole production for that. And because it's really cool, what they did with that was that they actually created their own music group to help hype up the next segment of what they're producing as a series. And it's really cool. So the girls that was in the first movie are having their own music group formed throughout the movie to create also the soundtrack, but also to bring life to what the next segment is going to be.
I love that.
And it's like, you think about it, it's like, oh my, that's raw, that's real, and that's different.
It's very meta.
Yeah, and it's like, and perfect right there, meta. The
movie
unique
within the movie within the movie.
Right, and it's that unique aspect, that raw aspect that I'm going to bring this story to life, but I'm not going to tell it the same way that you told it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we all the three of us miss leaving the theater with a smile on our faces and just pure enjoyment. You know what I mean? And I think we've gotten a little bit away from that. I'm not, I think that's really the popcorn, those movies we talk about, The World According to Garp. I just watched It's a Wonderful Life for the first time. I know it's sacrilege, but I'd never seen it, and that was one of Ryan's major influential movies. So I watched it with Jimmy Stewart, and my wife looked at me during the movie, and she said, "They don't make movies like this anymore, with a really positive message, with lots of heart. There's just not a lot of that out there." And so we have it. We have it right here. Now, whether we get to the finish line, I told you on the show that we're getting to the finish line, but in secret, I may be having some sleepless nights, but we'll get it done.
I think you'll get there. Now, how you get there, I don't know, but you'll get there. I think it's going to be, I don't think you're going to have as much struggle to get to that finish line. I think you're going to make it to the finish line and then look back and realize that you guys are really true trailblazers in producing something like Major Problems, producing something like The Initiative, and your next project that's coming. I really want to see more stuff from Raph. I think Ryan is going to really take off in many ways.
I do too.
And you're already a world-renowned actor, so
I don't know about all that.
Truly, look at many segments that you have, with the shows you've been on, the series that you've been on. It shows that you guys got it. And so long as you stay true to that course, you'll continue bringing it.
They're going to have to drag us off, buddy.
So I know we consider it all day. So I believe that's your camera. Take a look over, talk to the audience, let them know where they can actually reach you, how they're going to contact you, best way they support you. I know we talked about it a couple of times, but let's drive that home.
Okay. Please follow us at GraysonBerryProductions.com. Please email myself, our writer-creator of Major Problems, Thomas Ryan Ward, or our director, Rafael Marquetta, at contact@GraysonBerryProductions.com. We want to hear from all of you. If you have a passion project, don't hesitate to, I was about to say pick up the phone, but get on your keyboard and let us know.
And don't forget to keep your eyes out for their own film festival. So you can go to their website, hit them up on Instagram. They always posting something on there, and support, but also reach out, because you can submit your project, show what you're doing. Maybe you can cross-produce something and make it even better into a full feature length. Possibilities are endless. With these guys, trust me, you're in no better hands. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. We'll be back with more.
Yeah. Boom, boom.